First contact and tactical surprise. The void between Neptune and Uranus shimmered as reality folded in on itself. Massive vessels, their hulls gleaming with an iridescent blue-green metal unknown to Earth science, tore through the fabric of space-time. The Kelveri invasion fleet had arrived. Supreme Commander Thala stood on the command bridge of the inevitable conquest, her 8-foot frame imposing even among her own kind. Her silver skin reflected the ambient light of the bridge as she studied the holographic display of the Sol system. "Status report," she demanded, voice resonating with a metallic undertone that all Kelveri shared. First Officer Varen approached, lowering his head slightly in deference. "Transition complete, Supreme Commander. All 20 warships have successfully entered the system. Preliminary scans confirm this is indeed System KR-3301, as catalogued by our advanced scouts." "And the third planet?" Thula asked, her 6-fingered hand gesturing toward the blue-green world in the hologram. "Exactly as intelligence reported. Abundant water, minerals, and a single dominant species that calls themselves humans. They possess basic spaceflight capabilities, primitive orbital stations, and rudimentary weaponry. Nothing that could possibly challenge even our scout vessels." Thala's mouth formed what passed for a smile among the Kelveri. "The 117th conquest of the Kelveri Empire begins. Deploy stealth observers to their military installations and orbital platforms. I want comprehensive tactical data before we announce our presence." "As you command," Varen replied, relaying the orders. At NASA's Deep Space Monitoring Station in Colorado, Dr. Elena Rodriguez stared at her display in disbelief. The gravitational wave detector had registered a massive disturbance at the edge of the solar system, followed by the sudden appearance of 20 unknown objects. "This can't be right," she whispered, fingers flying across her keyboard as she ran diagnostics. Dr. Marcus Kim leaned over her shoulder. "What have you got?" "Something just appeared past Neptune's orbit. 20 objects, massive energy signatures unlike anything in our database." She pointed to the velocity calculations. "They're decelerating and changing course, Marcus. They're heading toward Earth." Within 3 hours, the anomaly had been confirmed by observatories worldwide. At the Pentagon, General Diana Wade stood before the Joint Chiefs of Staff, her expression grave. "Ladies and gentlemen, all evidence suggests we are witnessing humanity's first contact with extraterrestrial intelligence, and they're coming straight for us." The Secretary of Defense leaned forward. "What are our options, General?" General Wade exchanged glances with Air Force General Michael Okonkwo, who gave a subtle nod. "Sir, it's time to activate the Prometheus Protocol." The Secretary's eyes widened. "You're certain?" "Yes, sir. The size and configuration of these vessels match none of our theoretical models for peaceful first contact. They're warships." The room fell silent as the implications sank in. "Very well," the Secretary finally said. "God help us all." 300 meters beneath the Marianas Trench, in a facility that didn't exist on any official records, Captain Maya Chen walked through a cavernous hangar bay, her footsteps echoing. Above her loomed the silhouette of humanity's greatest secret, the Earth Defense Ship Defiant. Unlike the clunky, utilitarian designs of public space programs, the Defiant was sleek and predatory. Its midnight black hull absorbed light rather than reflected it, giving the impression of a ship-shaped void in reality. At nearly 900 meters long, it dwarfed anything humanity had officially built for space travel. Commander Raj Patel fell into step beside her. "The final quantum core calibrations are complete, Captain. All systems green across the board." Maya nodded, her dark eyes never leaving the vessel. "And the crew?" "The best Earth has to offer -300 specialists pulled from every major space program and military branch. They've been training in the simulator for 5 years." "Not the same as the real thing," Maya muttered. Rad's expression remained neutral. "None of this is the same as the real thing, Captain. The Prometheus Protocol was created for a scenario we hoped would never materialize." They reached the elevator that would take them to the bridge level. As the doors closed, Raj spoke quietly. The UN Security Council has given unanimous authorization. We deploy in 6 hours. About time, Maya replied. Because if those ships are hostile, and the Defiant is still sitting in this hangar when they arrive, humanity is screwed. 3 days later, the Kelvary fleet had moved past Mars and was decelerating toward Earth orbit. Their stealth observers had mapped Earth's defense systems, military bases, and orbital infrastructure. Supreme Commander Thola reviewed the tactical assessment with satisfaction. As expected, primitive kinetic weapons, rudimentary nuclear capabilities, and a handful of orbital platforms they call satellites. Nothing that poses a threat to our shields. There is one anomaly, Supreme Commander, Varen noted, bringing up a holographic display of a deep ocean region. We're detecting unusual energy signatures from this area. The readings are inconsistent with their observed technology level. Thala studied the data. A research facility, perhaps. No matter. Once we've neutralized their orbital defenses, we'll investigate. Begin the first phase of conquest. Target their military satellites and communication arrays. Across Earth, panic erupted as satellite communications suddenly failed. Military installations worldwide reported unknown objects in orbit, moving with impossible speed and precision. In the depths of the ocean, alarms blared as personnel rushed to battle stations. Maya strode onto the bridge of the Defiant, Raj one step behind her. The crew sat at their stations, faces tense but determined. Status report, Maya commanded, taking her place in the captain's chair. Lieutenant Commander Hassan at Tactical replied immediately. Alien vessels have engaged Earth's defense satellites. They're systematically eliminating our orbital infrastructure. Weapon systems, Maya asked. Quantum particle cannons charged and ready. Graviton shield generators at full capacity. Maya's gaze swept across the bridge. These men and women represented the pinnacle of human capability, drawn from nations across the globe. For 20 years, the world's governments had secretly pooled resources, knowing this day might come. Communications, open a channel to UN Command. The main view screen flickered to life, showing the underground command center in Geneva. General Wade nodded gravely. Captain Chen, you are authorized to deploy. The Defiant is humanity's sword and shield now. Maya straightened in her chair. Understood, General. We won't let Earth fall. The transmission ended, and Maya turned to her helm officer, Lieutenant Park. Initiate launch sequence. The massive hangar doors above the ship began to part, revealing the dark ocean depths. The Defiant's engines hummed to life, a deep resonant sound that seemed to vibrate through reality itself. Anti-gravity generators online, reported Commander Lai at Engineering. Quantum drive standing by for post-atmospheric engagement. Maya gripped the arms of her chair. Take us up, Lieutenant. Combat speed. The Defiant rose from its oceanic cradle, accelerating with a grace that belied its massive size. As it cleared the water's surface, the ship's propulsion systems shifted configuration, and it surged forward, closing the distance to Earth orbit in minutes rather than hours. On the Kelvary flagship, alarms suddenly blared. Supreme Commander, Varen called out, his usual composure fractured. We're detecting a massive energy signature launching from the planet's ocean. The view screen shifted to show a dark, angular vessel rising from Earth's surface. Thala's eyes widened in shock. Impossible. Their technology isn't. It's accelerating toward our position. The tactical officer interrupted. Energy readings suggest weapons capabilities beyond anticipated parameters. For the first time in her long military career, Thala felt a flicker of uncertainty. Recall our strike craft. All vessels form defensive formation Epsilon. Prepare for combat engagement. As the Defiant approached Earth orbit, the crew got their first visual of the alien armada. The Kelvary vessels were restructuring their formation, clearly responding to the unexpected appearance of the human warship. They're scanning us, Hassan reported. attempting to penetrate our systems. Countermeasures active, replied Lieutenant Joe from Operations. Their probes can't get through our quantum encryption. Maya leaned forward. Open a channel. All frequencies. Let's introduce ourselves. The communications officer worked her console. Channel open, Captain. Maya's voice was steady and clear. Attention unidentified vessels. This is Captain Maya Chen of the Earth Defense Ship Defiant. You have entered sovereign Earth space and attacked our installations without provocation. Power down your weapon systems and withdraw immediately, or we will respond with appropriate force. The view screen flickered, revealing the alien bridge. The sight of Supreme Commander Thala with her inhuman features sent a ripple of tension through the Defiance bridge. I am Supreme Commander Thala of the Kelveri Empire, the alien replied, her translator rendering her metallic speech into stilted English. Your species has been designated for integration into our collective. Resistance is futile and historically unprecedented. No species has successfully resisted the Kelveri Empire. Maya's expression hardened. There's a first time for everything, Commander. With a gesture, she cut the transmission. Tactical, lock quantum cannons on the lead vessel's propulsion systems. Let's show them what humanity is capable of. Weapons locked, Captain. Maya took a deep breath. The moment humanity had prepared for over 20 years had arrived. Fire. The quantum cannons discharged streams of subatomic particles accelerated to near-light speed, erupting from the Defiance hull. The beam struck the Kelveri flagship with pinpoint precision, bypassing its shields through quantum entanglement principles that Earth's scientists had discovered decades ahead of schedule. On the Kelveri bridge, consoles exploded as systems overloaded. Thala was thrown from her command platform, landing heavily on the deck. Damage report, she demanded, struggling to her feet. Aft propulsion disabled, came the stunned reply. They penetrated our shields as if they weren't there. For the first time in generations of conquest, a Kelveri commander faced a species with technology that could challenge their own. As Thala stared at the sleek human warship maneuvering to engage her fleet, a disturbing realization dawned. The conquest of Earth would not be the simple operation they had anticipated. It would be a fight for survival. Turning point and resolution. Chaos erupted across the Kelveri fleet as commanders struggled to comprehend what had just happened. The flagship Inevitable Conquest drifted, its main propulsion systems offline from the precise strike of the human vessel. Dispatch repair crews to the aft sections, Supreme Commander Thala ordered, her voice tight with barely controlled rage. All vessels engage the human ship. Overwhelming force protocol. First Officer Varen approached cautiously. Supreme Commander, I must advise caution. This species has clearly concealed their true technological capabilities. Our standard tactical approaches may be ineffective. They caught us by surprise once, Thala snapped. It will not happen again. Their vessel, while impressive, is outnumbered 20-1. Begin the attack. The Kelveri warships moved into attack formation, energy weapons charging as they converged on the Defiant. On the human warship's bridge, tactical displays highlighted the approaching enemy vessels. Multiple weapons signatures powering up, Hassan reported. They're coordinating a concentrated assault. Maya nodded calmly. Just as we anticipated. Deploy countermeasures. Activate defense network. Lieutenant Zhao's fingers flew across her console, transmitting activation codes now. Across Earth orbit, previously dormant systems suddenly came online. Hundreds of small satellites, disguised as space debris or outdated equipment, revealed their true nature. Solar panels unfurled, weapon ports opened, and propulsion systems ignited. Defense network active, Captain, Zhao confirmed. All units responding. The Kelveri fleet, focused on the Defiant, failed to immediately notice the swarm of smaller craft activating around them. By the time their sensors registered the new threats, it was too late. The defense network, comprising autonomous drones, weapon platforms, and electronic warfare satellites engaged the alien vessels from multiple vectors. Quantum-encrypted communications prevented the Kelveri from jamming or hijacking the swarm. What is happening? Thala demanded as alerts blared across her bridge. Where are these attacks coming from? Multiple small craft, her tactical officer responded, voice strained. They were dormant until now. Our sensors registered them as debris or primitive satellites. On the Defiant, Maya watched the battle unfold with grim satisfaction. Phase 2, Commander, she said to Raj. Let's show them what else we've been hiding. Raj nodded and spoke into his comm unit. Atlantis Base, this is Defiant Actual. Deploy Phoenix Squadron. From another hidden underwater facility, 12 sleek fighters launched in perfect formation. Unlike the bulky Defiant, these craft were built for speed and maneuverability. Each was piloted by an elite pilot neurally linked to their craft, enabling reaction times no organic being could achieve unaugmented. Phoenix Squadron deployed and engaging, Raj confirmed. The bridge crew watched as the fighters tore into the Kelveri formation, executing maneuvers that would have killed an unaugmented human pilot. Their quantum-tipped missiles bypassed alien shields just as the Defiant's cannons had done. Maya turned to Hassan. Target the nearest destroyer. All weapons. The Defiant surged forward, its full arsenal unleashed upon one of the Kelveri vessels. Quantum cannons, graviton missiles, and particle beams converged simultaneously. The alien chute shields flared brilliantly before collapsing completely. Secondary explosions rippled across its hull before it broke apart in a spectacular detonation. The Kelveri flagship, stunned silence fell over the bridge crew. In centuries of conquest, they had never lost a major warship in the initial engagement. How is this possible? Varen whispered, forgetting protocol in his shock. Their technology. It's beyond anything we've encountered before. Fella gripped her command console, mandibles clicking rapidly in agitation. Tactical analysis. How are they penetrating our shields? The science officer worked frantically at his station. Preliminary data suggests they're using some form of quantum entanglement to bypass our shield frequencies. They're not overpowering our defenses. They're circumventing them entirely. Another alarm sounded as a second Kelveri vessel succumbed to the combined assault of the Phoenix fighters and defense network. Supreme Commander, Varen said urgently, we must withdraw and reassess. This species has developed technologies specifically designed to counter our systems. Thala's pride warred with her tactical training. The Kelveri Empire does not retreat from primitives. With respect, Supreme Commander, these are not primitives, Varen countered. They have deceived us. Everything in our intelligence was wrong. As the battle raged around Earth orbit, Maya convened a quick tactical meeting on the Defiance bridge. They're adapting, Raj noted, reviewing the battle data. Their shields are beginning to modulate in response to our quantum weapons. Effectiveness is already down by 20%. Maya studied the holographic display of the battlefield. We anticipated this. They're a technologically advanced species. They were always going to adapt. We need to press our advantage while we still have one. She turned to Lieutenant Zhao. Is the infiltration package ready? Zhao nodded. Yes, Captain. Commander Jackson and his team are standing by in Shuttle Bay 2. Good. Tactical. Target their flagship again. I want their attention focused on us while the infiltration team deploys. Hassan nodded, programming the targeting solutions. Maya addressed the bridge crew. Listen up, people. We've surprised them. We've bloodied them. But this fight is far from over. The Kelveri Empire didn't conquer 100 worlds by giving up after the first punch. Commander Jackson's team will deploy to their flagship with the quantum disruptor. If they can plant it near their main power core, we can neutralize half their fleet in one stroke. It's a high-risk operation, Raj cautioned. High risk, high reward, Maya replied. Continue the assault. Give Jackson's team the window they need. In Shuttle Bay 2, Commander Alexei Jackson and his 6-person special operations team performed final checks on their infiltration suits. The sleek, black armor incorporated the most advanced stealth technology Earth had developed. "Remember, people," Jackson said to his team, "once we're aboard, we have 30 minutes to reach the power core, plant the disruptor, and get back to the shuttle. The Defiant will keep their attention, but stay frosty. We have limited intel on their internal security systems." Lieutenant Sato, the team's tech specialist, patted the cylindrical device secured to her back. "One shot, one kill. This baby goes off near their power core, and half their fleet goes dark." "Shuttle prepped and ready, Commander," the pilot reported. Jackson nodded. "Mount up. Time to earn our pay." As the Defiant engaged the Kelvary flagship with renewed fury, drawing all attention to itself, the infiltration shuttle slipped away from the human warship, its advanced stealth systems rendering it nearly invisible to Kelvary sensors. On the Kelvary flagship, Supreme Commander Thulla was fighting a losing battle against panic. 2 more of her vessels had fallen to the human assault, and the rest were taking heavy damage. "How is this possible?" she demanded of no one in particular. "They're a pre-FTL civilization." "Supreme Commander," her tactical officer called out, "I'm detecting unusual energy fluctuations in our aft hangar bay." Before Thulla could respond, the ship rocked with internal explosions. "Intruders," Varen shouted. "Human boarding party detected near engineering." Jackson's team moved through the alien vessel with practiced efficiency, their neural implants translating the Kelvary ship schematics in real time. They encountered resistance, security drones, and armored Kelvary soldiers, but their quantum pulse weapons made short work of the opposition. 5 minutes to target, Jackson reported as they approached the massive chamber housing the ship's power core. "Sato, prep the disruptor." "On it, Commander," she replied, removing the device from her back. The final corridor to the power core was heavily defended. Jackson signaled his team to take cover as energy weapons fire erupted from Kelvary security positions. No time for subtlety, he decided. "Nakamura, Rodriguez, flashbangs, and smoke. We go in hard and fast." The diversionary tactics worked. As the Kelvary defenders were disoriented by the flashbangs and smoke grenades, Jackson's team pushed forward, breaching the power core chamber. 30 seconds, Sato said as she worked to attach the disruptor to the pulsing blue-green heart of the Kelvary ship. "Contact rear," shouted Sergeant Wu. "The team's rear guard. Heavy reinforcements inbound. Hold them off," Jackson ordered. "Sato needs 10 more seconds." "Done," Sato called out. Disruptor planted and armed. 2-minute countdown initiated. "Fall back to the shuttle," Jackson commanded. "Move." The team fought their way back through the corridors, suffering casualties but maintaining their cohesion. 4 of the 6-person team, including Jackson and Sato, made it back to the shuttle. "Go, go, go," Jackson shouted as the shuttle pilot gunned the engines, blasting away from the Kelvary flagship. On the bridge of the Defiant, Maya watched the tactical display as the infiltration shuttle raced away from the enemy vessel. "Infiltration successful, Captain," Ja reported. "Disruptor planted. Detonation in 30 seconds. All units, maximum distance from the Kelvary flagship," Maya ordered. "Brace for quantum shockwave." The disruptor detonated not with a conventional explosion, but with a ripple of quantum energy that spread outward from the Kelvary flagship. The effect was immediate and devastating. The flagship's systems went dark, and the energy wave continued outward, disabling 8 more Kelvary vessels, whose power systems were synchronized with the flagship. Half the Kelvary fleet hung dead in space, their quantum entanglement networks disrupted beyond repair. Thulla stared in disbelief as emergency lighting bathed her bridge in an eerie red glow. "Status report," she whispered. "Main power offline. Auxiliary systems failing. Weapons, shields, propulsion, all inoperative." Varen replied, his voice hollow. 9 of our vessels affected." The remaining 10 are falling back to defensive positions. Thala slumped in her command chair. In a single, brilliant stroke, the humans had neutralized half her fleet and left her flagship defenseless. "Supreme Commander," Varen said softly, "we must consider the unthinkable. We must retreat." For a long moment, Thala was silent. Then, "Open a channel to the human vessel." On the Defiance bridge, Maya received the incoming transmission with surprise. "On screen," she ordered. Supreme Commander Thala appeared, her silver features illuminated by emergency lighting. "Captain Chin," she said, the translator rendering her voice subdued. "The Kelveri Empire acknowledges your unexpected capabilities. We offer cessation of hostilities and withdrawal from your system." Maya's expression remained neutral. "And in return, safe passage for our remaining vessels and assistance with emergency repairs to allow our disabled ships to depart." Maya glanced at Raj, who gave a slight nod. "We accept your terms, Supreme Commander, with one addition. The Kelveri Empire will acknowledge Earth and the Sol system as sovereign territory, exempt from any future conquest attempts." Thala's alien features contorted in what might have been a grimace. "Agreed. The Kelveri Empire will record humanity as unconquerable." After the transmission ended, the tension on the Defiance bridge broke. The crew erupted in cheers and celebration. Maya allowed herself a small smile. "Well done, everyone," she said. "But our work is just beginning. There are more species out there, and now they'll know about us. This was our first interstellar conflict, but it won't be our last." Raj nodded. "At least we've established a reputation." "Yes," Maya agreed, looking at the retreating Kelveri vessels on the view screen. "The word will spread among the stars. Humanity is not to be trifled with." 3 weeks later, as the last Kelveri ships limped away from the Sol system, a message was transmitted across the vast interstellar communication network that connected the various advanced civilizations of the galaxy. It contained a simple warning: "Approach Earth with caution. Humans are more than they appear."